21 weeks with my girl Eden, my little baby girl Eden. I'm feeling a little bit better. I was extremely under the weather last week. I'm still fighting it off, but I think it's now more pregnancy allergies or pregnancy congestion and seasonal allergies than anything else. 21 weeks was really exciting to make it another week, and we celebrated my husband's birthday, so that was really fun to honor him and honor his life and his journey of 36 years, being here on earth. After we lost Malachi, and we only really had 2 days with him outside of the womb, I realized how important birthdays were and are to celebrate, and how each day that we have alive, each year that we have alive is just, it's an absolute gift and treasure. And so my husband isn't a huge fan of his birthday, but I really wanted to celebrate him, and we had a nice day of celebrating with our family and friends. We went down to Colorado Springs, and I stayed with Paul on a work trip while he was down there doing some stuff for work. And the last time I was down there with him was back in June of last year, so about 3 months after we lost Malachi, 3 months postpartum. It was really weird being back down there again, because being there made me just remember how rough early grief was. And I'm still very much in early grief, but those first few months were a whole other caliber of pain and grief. And I remember being down there, really processing stuff still, and really struggling and dealing with some hormonal stuff, because I was about to get my period back during postpartum, and all I wanted was to get my period back, to balance my hormones and get pregnant again. And so it was a really crazy reflection to be back, 10 months later, 8 months later, how many ever months later, 21 weeks pregnant with my daughter. So being in Colorado Springs was really emotional, but beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be anyways. You see Pikes Peak and all the mountains and stuff. And I was able to hang out with a friend that I've met in grief. I call women I've met in grief my sisters in grief, whether they're lost moms, or in this case, this was my friend who had lost her husband. And so we met up in person for the first time, because we met on Instagram, and we talked at a coffee shop all day, and I got really burnt. Enjoyed matcha and just talked about grief and really connected in our grief. And I think that was really good. And spending time with Paul, obviously, and we went out to dinner, and, had a big steak dinner and fed Eden a bunch of red meat. She's a big protein girl. She loves protein. So I've been trying to, have a lot of protein in this pregnancy. And huge thing. Another huge thing that happened this week is that we went in for our 20-week scan. Actually yesterday. I'm technically 22 weeks today, so yesterday was my last day of being 21 weeks, and Paul was able to come, which was really exciting, and it was really emotional. I was nervous to go in, and mind you, 20-week scans, any sort of ultrasounds, they really can't catch everything that could possibly happen. They overlook things all the time. They miss things all the time. And sometimes they misdiagnose things. They're, of course, great. Ultrasounds aren't for everyone. I'm a big believer in getting whatever care you feel that you want in pregnancy. Not everyone feels that way. But I am, I love seeing my baby on screen. So, the 20-week ultrasound is very special to us. And when we did that with Malachi, he was a little rascal in the womb. He would not sit still. The ultrasound tech was like, I can't even get half the stuff right now, because he's moving all over the place. He would move and stop and she would take a picture, and then he would move and stop and then she would try to get another picture. And it took a while, and then like finally in the last 5 to 10 minutes she was able to get everything we needed. But he very much just had his own personality. He was so energetic and just avoided the camera at all costs. I remember that even when I had like a bigger belly towards the end of pregnancy and I was able to like see, you know, him kicking from the outside, anytime I would pull my camera out, he would like hide and stop kicking. And it was, you know, walking into that ultrasound, I had the memories of Malachi, you know, from last time. And that was the last ultrasound we had with Malachi, was at 20 weeks. And so it just brought up a lot of memories. And then there's a whole other feeling of like, will they find something wrong? And that fear involved, or like, what if, you know, I'd felt her kicking yesterday morning, but I was like, what if we don't see like her heart beating or something's wrong? And dealing with those fears, and then trying to navigate like, you know, being in an ultrasound room and having them ask questions about like, is this your first pregnancy? Did you have a live birth? And of course, like, this is my second pregnancy. I've had one live birth. Malachi was was alive when he was born. And so they classify that I like have, from the outside, it probably looks like I have a living child. And we didn't really disclose with the ultrasound tech that we had lost Malachi. I just felt like I didn't really want to share in this specific situation because we were all already dealing with so much emotions walking into it. And if she didn't blatantly come out and ask or realize that we didn't have our child here on earth, I wasn't going to say anything, which normally I love to share, but it just didn't feel like the right time. So it was scary and my heart was beating so fast when we first walked in. But as soon as I sat down and I saw her on the screen, I immediately just relaxed and like was mesmerized by like watching her. And it was just so funny to see the differences between her and Malachi. Like she's active, but she moves differently. Like she was definitely more chill during the whole ultrasound. My tech kept saying like, oh my gosh, she's doing so awesome. She's like posing perfectly. Like she's making this so easy. And, you know, I was just laughing at how like Malachi's this bigger, older brother who just is such like a little rascal. And then there's Eden, who's just calm, cool, and collected, and she's chill, and she's just here for a good time. And, yeah, we just got some really, really precious pictures of her, and I cried the whole time. It just brought up so much joy and so much grief, and it just was a lot. It was really heavy and really beautiful all at once, and it made me feel more, I guess you could say, excited. It's hard for me to use the word excited because that just feels so strong of a word. And it's not that I'm not excited that I'm pregnant and I have a daughter. It's just hard to feel excitement when the worst thing has happened to you and you wonder if it's going to happen to you again. And I do feel hopeful and I'm so grateful, but those are different sorts of feelings and choices. Excitement feels almost unattainable, and excitement, I guess, looks different now with grief in the picture. So it was a beautiful experience. It was a challenging experience. It was like a big milestone. Obviously, it was something I was nervous about, and remember making the appointment like a month ago and just thinking like, will I even make it to 22 weeks? Or 20 weeks, but 21 weeks for the ultrasound scan. And we did, and I'm so grateful. And it just was so beautiful to watch her on screen just move and be alive and see her alive in me and feel her. And she's been kicking so much. It's been wonderful. So 21 weeks was a wonderful week. It was really great, full of sunshine, full of Eden, and lots of missing Malachi. So here's the 21 weeks.